Fairfield back-to-back MAC tournament champions. They beat Quinnipiac last Saturday in that championship. Kansas State getting an at-large bid out of the Big 12. Lost in the quarterfinals of their tournament to West Virginia. But all of that was without that young woman, Yoki Lee. What a difference she makes when she's on the floor for Kansas State, and we'll see if it continues here in March Madness. It is Kansas State with the ball on the opening possession. And they lob it right into Lee for the bucket. Take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. The Fairfield starting lineup. This starting lineup won the MAC championship last year for Carly Thibault-Dedonis.
It's going to be interesting, and it's something that we heard Coach talk about. You look at Yoka Lee down low, there is nobody that can go up against her from a height standpoint.
And how about that? The two big stars for Kansas State scoring first. First it was Lee, then Sundell. Stags looking for the bucket. They love to shoot the three. Top 15 in the nation in threes per game. They make 9 a game. They shot 50% from three in that MAC championship game. Magruder, shot clock under 10. Lamoureux trying to get around Walker. 3 players collapse on her, and a jump ball called. It will stay with Fairfield.
You know you can't dribble that far in the paint without having somewhere to go with the ball. Either you got to take the shot earlier or you got to pass it and move it.
Isa Nicoletti-Lette throwing it in. Her 7th year of college basketball. And they do not get a shot off, so a turnover forced by the Wildcats. And Kansas State, they are very happy that their starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One, includes Yoki Lee.
Well, Yoki Lee is just such a big presence for this team, and not having her in the game, one of the things that Coach said is we had to figure out a way to play, not relying on her being out there, and so having a lot of different lineups.
That is going to be tough to stop for Fairfield, Tamika. Twice they have gone into Lee at will, and Kansas State up quickly, 6-0.
Yoki Lee is 6'6", down low, and the only player that relatively is the same height and not really same height is 6 foot tall. 6'1", Megan Anderson.
Magruder, shot clock again under 10. Anderson will shoot the 3. That's short, rebounded and stuck back in by Selimovic.
Just a great heads-up play, going in for the rebound. And look at Yoki Lee going to work down low. 2 players at all time have to be on her.
Sundell with a nice take, and all of Kansas State's points have come from Lee or Sundell so far. 4 apiece. Fairfield looking for an easy bucket. Selimovic, hand in her face. That's short. It was partially blocked by Poindexter. Kansas State in their 19th NCAA tournament, 6th under Jeff Mittie. A 5 seed. Kansas State was one of those teams in the conversation for a 4 seed. Lamoureux working her way down the floor. Nicoletti-Lette.
I think it's going to be really important for Fairfield to try to figure out a way. They are going to have to attack the basket to get them better looks.
And Glenn knocks down the 3. A red-hot start for Kansas State. The Wildcats have not missed a shot building this 9-point lead.
Well, Kansas State is leading Fairfield 11-2, and a big reason is this young lady right here, Yoki Lee, right off the bat, first play of the game, get the ball down low inside, get her comfortable, as we said earlier. She's been out since February and really since January, but it's a huge sign for Kansas State to have her back for this game.
She says she's 100%, and Jeff Mittie giving her a little break right now after the first 3 minutes. And the clock did not start on time, so they're going to adjust that. But it's interesting, though. Kansas State's 5 for 5 to start this game. Tamika, all 5 baskets have been assisted, so they're in sync right away.
I think that's going to be an important thing, and even with the Yoki Lee back, you want to make sure you stay consistent to the things you were doing with her out.
Turnover. Poindexter shooting another three, off the mark on that one. Taylor with the offensive rebound, had it, and then it's out of bounds, but off of Fairfield.
Kennedy Taylor's been one of those players that's had to step up with the absence of Lee, and Coach gave her a huge shout out, just saying how proud he was. It was a group of them that he was really proud of, and nice play out of bounds. Jalen Glenn now 5 points.
Glenn, honorable mention, all Big 12 this year. Carly Tebow Didonis for Fairfield. She has a 1 second rule. She does not like players to hold on to the ball for 1 second. And if you see them doing that, they're a little bit out of sync. Herder.
Big piece of that is just to speed up the offense. She likes that up-tempo game.
Lamoureux drives, draws the foul. And the foul on Taryn Sides will put Lamoureux on the free throw line. Lamoureux was a crucial reason that Fairfield was able to win that second straight MAC tournament championship last weekend in Atlantic City.
I love the way she plays. She definitely is one of those heads-up players. She's feisty, she's mean. I think I heard you guys reference her as a pit bull on the basketball court, and just really all in, all out, every single possession.
She was an incredible high school athlete, all-state, all-conference in soccer, softball, and basketball. Sister right now is the America East Player of the Year at Binghamton in softball. Sundell, 6'2" point guard, rare commodity. Sides, open to the basket, banks it in.
Well, rare commodity, especially when you look at this Fairfield team. The tallest player on the team, they have two at 6'1". When you look at Kansas State, they have their point guard at 6'2".
Herder off the mark on the three. This is a different type of opponent for Kansas State. Jeff Mitty saying that they have not faced anyone that plays the style Fairfield plays this year. Sundell, another baseline jumper, and so far Kansas State is handling it, Tamika.
Well, Kansas State just being patient in their offense, taking what the defense gives them.
The three, tried to bank it in, no good, and then Herder commits the foul, going for the rebound. Now, this Fairfield team made 15 three-pointers in the MAC championship game last weekend. Made 50% of their threes. It's been a slow start so far for the Stags. But the way they play, they're always in a game. They have the ability to score a lot of points quickly.
Yeah, and you can tell that goes back to the 1 second rule of trying to make sure that up-tempo game, so even pace of the game on the offensive, on their offensive end, but they're gonna have to do a better job defensively.
Magruder comes out of the pack. Scott, who made 6 of 6 behind the three-point line, throws it inside, swatted away. Sundell with the pass. And the runner goes off the rim by Sanchez.
I think this would be a good pace for Fairfield, trying to get up and down and try to control the pace.
Got to make some shots, though. Magruder does.
And I think as a team, everybody kind of sighed of relief and seeing that first three-pointer go down.
Over half her made shots have been threes this year. 10-point lead for the Wildcats, trying to get to Kentucky. And stepped out of bounds. Ball goes back to Fairfield. Lee will be coming back to the game for Kansas State. Good start for the Wildcats, up 10 here in the first quarter. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And the first round is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. We are just getting started, round one of March Madness. Stars have already been shining throughout this first day of play. Right now, Kansas State up by 10. South Carolina going for back-to-back national titles. Big Ten this year getting 12 teams in the tournament. SEC got 10. And the Stars have already been on full display, and we look forward to many magical moments in March Madness. What a game Georgia Amore had on this floor just before this game.
Yeah, 34 points, and already set the pace for this Kentucky Wildcat team here in Lexington. it's going to be a lot of fun watching the tournament. And you wait all season. Of course, I always say you split it up from preseason to regular season to conference play, the conference tournament, and then we get to the real NCAA tournament. 68 teams selected, only one champion will be crowned, and a whole bunch of magical moments, as you said, will be made.
Now, Serena Sundell is a player that has moved up on draft boards in the WNBA, and she is our Wendy's Fuel the Run player because, I mean, what she's done between her freshman year and her senior year is absolutely remarkable. These are the improvements.
Well, it's been crazy when you look at this, and I think the most impressive thing, muscle gain. 20 pounds gained over the course of her last 4 years, and the improvement in her speed, because that's important. We always talk when you get to that next level, it's faster, it's quicker, players are stronger, so she's already been really locked in to making those improvements in college.
And her vertical's gone up 4 inches. Herder trying to get loose. Sundell's defending her. Nice move by Herder.
Like that up and under Herder.
Herder's brother Kevin plays for the Chicago Bulls, was a star at Maryland. Lob down low to Lee. That has been unstoppable. So Tamika, you have a theory on how you sort of deal with Lee. What would it be?
Well, I think on the offensive end, when Lee is on the offensive end, it's going to be hard to stop, but how you negate that is try to get her tired on the defensive end. I believe you put her in every single pick and roll and force her to have to play defense and have to move her feet.
Fairfield's taking up time on this possession. Magruder has it knocked away, and another turnover on the Stags. That's their third so far here in the opening quarter. They averaged only 14 a game.
You know, we watched practice yesterday. Just were impressed with how Fairfield practiced.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was the ball movement. There wasn't a lot of dribbling. It was more pass, cut, and I think that they have to get into that mindset today.
This Fairfield team, such a hard-working group. Shot clock is down to 3. Glenn launches it, doesn't get the roll, but an offensive rebound by Glenn. She'll shoot the 3.
Fairfield might have got a break on that one. Not very many times you get those wide open looks and get the miss by Kansas State.
Fairfield has made just 1 3-pointer so far. They average 9 a game. Kansas State's done a good job defending. Look down low. Coe can't get the shot off. Shot clock down to 5. Nice move by Herder to get loose, but no bucket, and it'll be Kansas State's ball. Jeff Mitty, head coach for Kansas State. And Coach Mitty was very respectful of this Fairfield team. His 11th season, most wins since the 08-09 season for this Kansas State. It's been a record-setting season for his group, which he calls a grateful group. I love the way he described his team.
Well, I think that's important. And turnover right there, trying to get the ball into Aoka Lee. One thing you have to know as a guard, when you distribute the ball to a 6'6" post player, throw the ball either up where she has to go and get it, or it goes out of bounds, but you don't want those live ball turnovers.
Walker commits a foul inside, trying to defend that entry pass. It'll be Fairfield's ball out of bounds. Walker, a sophomore from Wichita who transferred in from Louisville. Lamoureux set to throw it in. Just got it in before the 5-second count. And a little bit of a miscue there.
Unforced turnover right there.
In tennis, we'd call that an unforced error.
That is, definitely.
And it gives Kansas State a chance to build on this lead.
Well, one thing we know about Fairfield, and when you know anything about Coach Carly Thibault
Didanis,
you know she is never going to give up, and she's not going to let this team either.
Lee doing work inside, and Lee now 4 of 4 when she touches the ball in the post. Now Fairfield just has not figured Kansas State out yet. This is extremely well-coached team, and as Tamika mentioned, so much fun to watch them in practice.
Now, if you watch Kansas State on their defense, any pick and roll, they're switching.
Shot clock down to 5. Anderson off the mark on the 3. And it has been all Kansas State here in this opening quarter.
Well, look at Ayoka Lee battling down low.
Cross-court pass wide open with Sanchez. Got her miss and then blocked from behind by Coe. Nice block.
Yeah, definitely a nice block and a great heads-up play. Saw the rotation come over. Kansas State able to get the offensive rebound, but Coe does a good job of trying to get that block.
Davy Lester into the game for the first time today. Amani Lester, sorry, your dad's Davy. I remember him at NC State. Rebound Lamoureux. Up the floor to Anderson. Just pass was too far in front of her. And Fairfield just has not gotten in sync yet.
They haven't, but the great thing is it's a 40-minute game, and you look at this quarter we're in, you have a chance to kind of catch your breath, to see the flow of the game, and hopefully come back in the second quarter better than the first.
Carly Thibault-Dodonis just got a brief look at her. She is one of the best young coaches in the sport of basketball right now. One of 5 finalists for the Mid-Major Coach of the Year. 3 on the way, off the mark. Rebounded by Scott. Scott launches the 3, off the mark. So a fantastic start by Kansas State as they go 10 of 21 shooting and have a big lead. See if the Stags can get it going in the second. Carly Thibault-Dodonis in her 3rd season as head coach. 3rd season as a head coach anywhere, but already on a lot of lists of major college programs, and she comes by it naturally as her dad, Mike Thibault, the winningest coach in WNBA history. There's Mike on the left. Next to her, or next to him, is his son, Eric, Carly's brother, who's now the associate head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. Mom's in the picture as well, but just such a kind and crafty coaching family.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to spend some time, and I got to play underneath Coach Thibault as part of the USA Olympic team, and so having that opportunity to get to know, I have known Carly since 2003 when Coach Thibault took over the Connecticut Sun, and at the age of 14, she was the lead ball. She was in charge of all of the ball girls and boys that would be a part of it. And so I always knew when I went to the Connecticut Sun that I was going to have somebody there to rebound, and she had that thing like a well-oiled machine, and that's exactly how she does when she coaches.
Right now, the Stags struggling against Kansas State. Again, they have dominated the MAC the past couple of seasons. Have only lost 1 game in 2 seasons. But this has been a bad matchup so far here early. Shot clock again down to 7. Lamoureux has to come back out. Shot clock is at 2. They got to launch one. Herder. That is short. And Fairfield is just not getting the looks they want.
And there goes another look at Coach Thibault, Eric, and Miss Nancy.
You know, Mike so admires Carly so much. I can remember when she was on Vic Schaefer's staff at Mississippi State, and we were doing games together on ESPN. He said then he thought she would be an incredible coach.
Well, attention to detail, then even when you look at Eric, and Eric was under Coach Thibault's staff for the Mystics for a while, and then had the head coaching job, and now, as we said, underneath at Minnesota, one of the associate head coaches for Minnesota. So it'll be good to see underneath Coach Reeves how he continues to build on his coaching.
Herder off the mark on that 3, and the rebound taken by Lester.
See, this is a different team than we saw yesterday, and a lot of it was knowing that you have to attack the basket, but Kansas State just making it really hard. Even when they attack, they're sending double team over, and Fairfield, they're not moving on the offensive end.
They have not scored since the 3:53 mark in the first quarter. And a foul called. Nicoletti Lete commits the foul.
I think one of the things you have to do as a teammate when you can't look at the scoreboard, you have to look internally and look at each other and figure out, okay, how do you get past this slump in the midst of the game?
Poindexter gets rid of it. Shot clock under 10 now for Kansas State. Sundell going to work, has it stripped away, and a whistle. And a foul in the lane. And it's on Nicolette Leite. That's her second foul, 2 in a row for the Brazilian, who went to high school in North Carolina. She was that state's Gatorade Player of the Year at News Christian Academy in Raleigh. Went to Florida State as one of the most sought-after recruits, but had ACL injuries and never really could get going at Florida State. And coming to Fairfield, she said, has rediscovered her love of basketball.
Funny when she was in the press conference and she said, well, I've been here for a while. 6 years.
She asked for another year.
Well, they might give it to her, you never know. But yeah,
she may be a player coach.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, she has a passion about her and a joy for the game.
Good move inside by Ray Brown for one of the few post baskets for Fairfield here early on.
And I think it's important. You have to play inside out. If you just focus on playing outside, it'll be really easy for K-State.
Kansas State outscoring Fairfield 16-6 in the paint. But Lee has 8 of those points. Lee on the bench right now. Anderson gets underneath the D. Fairfield within 10 now, and Lee will come back into the game for Kansas State.
I think it's important. You got to do
good look.
The things you're good at, and a great rotation by Lamro.
Let's go back to that last nice play by Fairfield.
You see that screen by Lamro, and a good way to come off the screen by Anderson. Shoulder to shoulder off those screens gets you an easier look at the basket.
Lee back in the game, trying to post up Co inside. They lob it over the defense. Brown comes from, Scott comes from underneath and commits the foul. Sydney Scott, fantastic shooter. She was 6 of 6 in the MAC tournament championship last year. Played for Kim Caldwell at Marshall last year and transferred over to Fairfield this year.
Yeah, just thinking about that last possession. When you have the help side defense come over, you shouldn't come over trying to grab the ball. You should almost come over trying to tip the ball to one of your teammates.
3 off the mark, it's stuck. It'll be Fairfield's ball.
All right, Walker.
Yeah, Walker is the one that swatted that out from that corner. 10-point game here for Kansas State. Kansas State this year, big wins over Iowa State and TCU. But they lost 4 of their last 6, dropped to a 5 seed instead of getting to host. 3 on the way, off the mark by Scott.
Yeah, but I like that look by Scott, and I like the drive. I said this earlier, with Lee out there, you gotta make sure, this is her first game back, gotta test the waters.
Lee missed that shot, kicks it out. First shot Lee's missed in the game.
Kansas State doing a good job, Sundell. Oh.
And Anderson knocks it off of Sundell, and the Stags will get it back.
That's a good defensive possession right there by Fairfield.
Kansas State now 0 for their last 4, and they've had a scoring drought of 4 minutes now. Fairfield needs to make some buckets. Fairfield just 5 of 17 starting this game.
Yeah, I think Fairfield had a little bit of a run and got comfortable.
Lamoureux, good! And Lamoureux hoping that ignites the Stags, their second made 3.
The bench was definitely up on their feet. You can feel the energy shifting a bit.
The lead now just 7 for Kansas State. Kansas State does such a good job moving that ball. And Lee under the bucket, doesn't get it to go down, but then doesn't even have to jump for the rebound, and one.
Well, the great thing is she's always gonna have her hands up around the basket, but take another look at this throw. Yoka Lee, look at that, yep. You can't even say it's over the back because the ball literally falls into her hand.
A Kansas State legend fouled by Coe. Lee, honorable mention All-American despite missing so much of this season. Second team All-American in 21-22, but she is the Kansas State record holder for blocks, points, rebounds, double-doubles. Lamoureux did a good job not to turn it over.
I think a little bit too much dribbling. We talked about that 1 second rule, and they have found themselves reverting backwards.
Under 5 to play here in the second quarter. Fairfield playing a little bit better right now. Coming up at halftime, Degree in the studio. We will turn it over to El Chene. Or no, we're going to Kelsey, Muffin, and Megan. And they're going to tell you about Michigan advancing past Iowa State. And then as we saw firsthand, Kentucky hanging on against the Liberty Lady Flames. What a fun game. We started our day here in Lexington. And right now, the Stags of Fairfield, two-time defending MAC champions, trailing by 10 to Kansas State, the 5 seed out of the Big 12. Fairfield with a little momentum right now. Lamoureux, what a take, and one.
Ooh, I like that right there. Lamoureux, great job of getting to the basket. He just creates her own shot. You see right here, gets all the way in. Yoka Lee rotates late. She's gonna get a chance for the M1.
If your life is on the line, you want Lamoureux playing for it. She is a fierce competitor and completes the three-point play.
See Yoka Lee up at the free throw line.
3 on the way from Poindexter, off the mark. Swatted out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly that's the best thing you could do when you see a Yoka Lee rotate over to get the rebound is you have to tap the ball. You can't go up there thinking that you're going to be able to grab it.
Playing in front of her right now.
Well, they always have somebody in front and behind.
Right now it's Coe defending Lee in the paint. This is Walker, free throw line jumper, good. Walker on the all-defensive team in the Big 12 this year. Big bucket for the Wildcats as it pushes the lead back up to 9.
Lamoureux gonna try to take a Yoka Lee.
Lamoureux will always try to make something happen.
Well, you see Lee was quick to wave off to get one of the guards on her. I'm not chasing after her.
Lob down low, broken up and taken away by Glenn. Sundell. Talking to Mike Tebow, Carly Tebow, Dodonis' dad, about Sundell yesterday, and feels like she can fill a lot of roles in the W. Nice bank.
Yeah, Tamira Poindexter.
Lamoureux again. This time lost it on the way up, goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Fairfield.
I like her pace. Lamoureux trying to push this team and does a good job. Not able to get the finish, but definitely getting the ball back.
Lee will get another break to try to manage her coming in and out of the game. Her first game since February, and in that game she was not in for very long against Kansas and injured her other foot. And a turnover will go back to Kansas State. And Jeff Mitty saying Yoki wanted to come back, that it was totally her decision. She loves this team and wanted to try to finish strong. And as I mentioned earlier, she says she's 100%.
Yeah, she's a fierce competitor, and I think even when you look at not knowing what's next in your career, you want to be able to not even go out. Like you want to go out on your terms. If this is your last opportunity to play in college, play as many games as you can, try to get as far as you can.
Good D by the Stags, forced the turnover. Lamoureux for 3, hit rim, that's all. Kansas State has led wire to wire so far, and a foul as Taylor goes up strong. She'll go to the line with 2:35 left in the half, and the foul on Sydney Scott, her second.
You're going to see a lot of different rotations and a lot of different looks by this Fairfield Stag team. Kansas State will continue to look to go down low with the height advantage that they have, and allow them to have the rotation too, with different players going in.
Taylor, first free throw is good, and coverage of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Taylor, nice looking free throws. Kansas State shooting 42% in this game so far. They've had 74 quarters this year shooting over 50%. Good shooting team. Herder left open. Three on the way, and that is good.
Yeah, they missed the rotation on the defensive end for Kansas State, and Herder makes them pay.
Three made threes for Fairfield here in the first half. Lob down to Taylor, and a foul inside. Foul's going to go against Ray Brown. And that's her first foul. Taylor will go back to the free throw line. Coach Mitty pointed her out, as you mentioned earlier, as what a job she's done. Unexpectedly thrown into a role that Lee was supposed to fill. And she's really helped anchor the post while Lee was out.
I think that's a positive sign from a coaching standpoint. And you're always looking for players that can go in and fill those roles, because as we saw in the last game, when Kentucky had two post players get fouled out, and you have to have another post that can go in and fill that position. I think it helped for tournament time. You have players that have now had to play without a Ayoka Lee that can step up because they've had that success.
Kansas State uses its bench a lot. Poindexter picks off that deflection. Poindexter open for three. Good! Nothing but net as Poindexter makes her first three of the game.
Yeah, I like her pace. Got the ball up the floor, found an open player, and came right back to her.
15-point lead for Kansas State, approaching the final minute of the half. And a steal taken by Sides to Walker. Good D by the Stags. 3-on-2, Lamoureux to Selimovic. She'll launch the three. Good!
That's right on time, definitely what the Stags needed.
Poindexter trying to answer. Selimovic with a rebound. And just like that, the lead has been cut to 8, and Fairfield has a chance to reduce it even more. Lob down low. That was an ambitious pass. Two defenders on her. Lamoureux will shoot the three.
And not able to get it to convert. Kansas State gonna slow it down.
About a half a second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Kansas State got set on trying to get this last play and make it a good one.
Poindexter, clock down to 1, and the shot clock expired. They did not get that shot off. So 0.8 of a second left in the half. Fairfield looking for a catch and shoot. Lamoureux using that softball arm. Couldn't hit the rim, but Ayoka Lee in her return to the team, 5 of 8 in that opening half, 11 points and 5 rebounds. So a strong start for Ayoka Lee. And we will be sending it into the studio now with our Degree Studio Show. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. And you're watching the first round presented by Intuit TurboTax. Getting ready to start the third quarter between Kansas State and Fairfield. And we welcome you back to the table, everybody. Sam Gore along with Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings. And Tamika, no surprising our Capital One rewarding performance. Sundell and Lee, they really kicked it off for Kansas State.
Well, definitely, and welcome back Ayoka Lee. She came in and had been dominant down low, 11 points, 5 for 8, and finding ways to score 5 rebounds along with the 11 points. Consistently down low, Fairfield has not been able to find anybody that can match up against her. And of course, Serena Sundell is the second piece of that 1-2 combo. 3 for 3 right now, 6 points, 5 assists. So not only getting her points, but making sure that she's dishing it and getting her teammates involved as well.
And Kansas State has the ball to begin the third quarter. Looking forward to seeing how Fairfield comes out here in the third. They were starting to get a little momentum there at the end of the half. Sundell, though, goes right to work with the easy bucket on the first possession.
I like that look for Sundell. She just makes it look so easy.
Double team on Coe. And finally a jump ball call. Possession arrow will keep it on this end. And a good D there. Glenn shaking up a little bit. She and Lee were swarming Coe.
I like being able to move the ball and advance it quick, and I think that's what Fairfield is trying to get at the offensive flow before Kansas State sets their defense.
Fairfield made 4 threes in that first half. But they only made 9 total shots compared to 16 field goals for Kansas State. Fairfield moving the ball a little bit better on this opening possession, a lot quicker. Anderson, goes to work. Yes, Anderson. No contact, gets the bucket.
Oh, that's a good sign, because I feel like Fairfield needs to get Anderson involved. She only had 2 points in the first half. Not a lot of shot attempts.
Poindexter launches off the mark. Lee got the rebound, stuck it in, and draws the foul. What a presence she is inside.
Yeah, Ayoka Lee hard to guard, and Anderson battling down low. She takes a couple dribbles, she goes right into a shot. And of course, on the offensive boards, got to put a body on Ayoka Lee. You cannot allow space.
That was on Magruder. Lee at the free throw line. Lee made her only free throw in the first half, and we mentioned finishing her career and wanting to come back. She may go into the psychology field. In fact, she's already seeing clients as she's working on a grad certificate in financial therapy. She's already gotten her master's in family therapy. She has a lot of options outside of basketball already with a master's degree and seeing clients as a counselor.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. And you look at a lot of these student athletes and what they've been able to do year after year, some that have stayed in school a little bit longer, been able to come out with their degrees. Master's degree, doctorates,
yeah,
PhDs.
Cassidy Rowe for Kentucky is going to be working on a doctorate in the fall. Kentucky awaiting the winner of this game. Shot clock under 6. Bounce pass down low, broken up by Lee. Turnover.
Ayoka Lee, that's her second steal.
How do you think Lee's looked today?
I think she's moving well, considering that this is her first game back, and we keep saying this, but the date is February. She only played 5 minutes in the game on February and hurt her other foot, so really she's been out since January. And trying to get into game speed and get into the flow, I think she looked good.
They are a different team with her statistically, that's for sure. Lamro, shot clock down to 6, throws it up. Lee with a rebound. Rebound number 7 for Lee. Already close to a double-double, 13 points. Kansas State has not trailed in this game. Glenn dumps it into Lee. Easy finish. In fact, that just looks too easy.
Well, I mean, you keep asking how does Lee look, and in consideration of her coming back, but then also Fairfield, there's nobody that can battle with her. She has a huge height advantage.
Coe spins away, goes under Lee and draws the foul.
Lee right here, just taking up space, gets the ball, doesn't bring it down, and then of course on the other end, Coe, nice little spin around and little scoop into the basket.
Cyan Coe, a Canadian from Toronto. majoring in film, television, media arts with a minor in graphic design. Very creative person. Off the mark on the free throw. Kansas State staying out in front. The lead is 14 right now. Taylor in the post. Lee is out of the game. Sundell for three. Good.
Move the ball, move the ball, move the ball. And that's what K-State has done a really good job of finding little open players. When Lee is not in the game, I think it opens up the floor a little bit.
That three off the mark. Taylor with a rebound. Sundell has not missed a shot in this game. 5 of 5 overall. And, you know, I mentioned earlier in the game Sundell and talking to Mike Tebow about her in the WNBA. What do you think about Serena Sundell? What kind of player do you think she would be at the next level?
Well, I mean, one thing that we talked about is one of those players that can fill any role. Right now we see her at the point guard position. Obviously number 2 in the NCAA with an assist per game. But with Ayoka Lee out, they've started running some of the post plays for her. So I think she's one of those conventional players that can fill a lot of different spots.
There she is in the post, misses her first shot of the day, and a foul on that rebound.
But I'm excited for her if the opportunity does arise. And could I ask Coach, you know, I'm always asking questions. Would there be a possibility that if he was still in the game, he would have drafted? Because I think she's definitely a second-round draft pick player and somebody that can get into a training camp and potentially make a team, depending on what that team needs.
Selimovic committed that foul. She certainly has gone up on a lot of draft boards. Sides to Selimovic. Nice look down low to Taylor. Taylor muscles it up and in. And a timeout taken by Fairfield as Kansas State has gone on an 11-4 run to start this third quarter. Check out how Kentucky is moving on, brought to you by United Airlines.
Well, Kentucky's coming off of a great performance, well, a close performance, 79-78, and the player that we want to highlight, Georgia Amore, 34 points, 8 assists, and doing a little bit of everything. You see her numbers right there, but this young lady is hard to guard. Started off the game on fire and able to pull a couple of points off in the fourth quarter to help her team to a victory.
That was a record-tying performance in Kentucky basketball history, those 34 points. And going down at mid-court was Taryn Sides. Poindexter picks it up, goes in for the layup, and one. Sides got back up. And Poindexter is going to go to the line. She is not happy with what just transgressed there.
She's continuing a little bit of frustration, and you have those players trying to make plays.
So here's the steal. Poindexter gets the steal. You saw Sides had gone down, and then Lamoureux got her on the head.
Yeah, I think part of it is
she was also taken up for Sides, because whatever happened with Taryn Sides, she was defending her teammate as well. But all good now at the free throw line. Misses the free throw, but got the bucket. Some intensity here in March Madness in Lexington.
Well, Fairfield trying to figure out a way to get themselves going in every single turnover, especially in that sense.
Selimovic stuck. Nice pass to Ray Brown. This Fairfield team tough as nails.
One thing you know, they're going to continue to fight.
Sundell gets around the screen, stopped. Glenn, short jumper off the mark. And Brown. Fairfield on the run. Turnover. Fairfield struggling today in that category. 13th turnover. They only average 13 a game this season. Shot on the way. Off the mark, Selimovic with a rebound.
And I think for Fairfield, one thing they have to do, yes, you want to get some quick points, but also making sure that they're playing together.
And Lamoureux gets fouled by Sides. Second foul on Sides. Timeout on the floor. Kansas State still way out in front. We're in Lexington, Kentucky, but this section of the bracket in Regional 4 Spokane. USC playing out in Los Angeles. And of course, USC has one of the biggest stars in the game, Juju Watkins. Interested in your thoughts on Juju, Tamika?
Well, if you haven't seen this young lady play, you have been missing out. She is so much fun to watch, and her alongside her teammates. But you see her number 24.6 points per game. She is a walking bucket. You need a bucket, give the ball to Juju Watkins.
Foul on Selimovic on that rebound. Second foul on her. How cool is it that we've got such big stars in Regional 4 Spokane? Georgia Amore, Sundell Lee, Juju.
A lot of fun games, and to think that that's only one arm of the bracket, and there's plenty more games and plenty more players that we have in the women's game. Ayoka Lee, another basket down low.
Lee, 7 of 10. USC, by the way, plays on ABC tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern. Lamoureux with the take, missed. Rebound and a foul. And Lamoureux's been getting into it.
Yes.
With the Wildcats. They are having a tough time figuring her out. That is the third foul on Sides. She's been given Sides and Poindexter fits.
Well, thing about Lamoureux is she's constantly moving.
Yeah.
Even when she doesn't have the ball, if you watch her, she's making you defend her in some shape or form.
Lamoureux, number 4 in black, now running the baseline. Shortest player on the floor for them.
Shortest player on the floor.
Herder, step back 3. Fairfield, 4 made threes today, but not falling at the same rate they typically do for the Stags. That's broken up. Lamoureux pushes it.
And that was a good heads-up play. Tip the ball to your teammate.
Herder, good D by Side so far. Herder working her way to the basket, misses the shot. Fairfield 0 for their last 4.
Look at Lamoureux down low.
Sides for 3, good! Sides, a 45% three-point shooter. She's the only player in the nation that's made 80 or more threes without a start this year. She comes off the bench.
I think Sides does exactly what she needs to do. She fills the role, steps in and gives a little breather. See Sundell sometimes runs that point guard position, but I think having Sides, you just have another shooter out there.
Kansas State slowing it down here, under 3 to play in the quarter. They have not trailed in this game. It's the return of Yoki Lee, the All-American, number 50 in white. Sides open for another 3. Same result. And the threes are raining for the Wildcats all of a sudden.
Well, Kansas State doing a good job. Yoki Lee could have taken that shot, but she chose to pass it out, and they swung it around, find a better shot.
Selimovic misses. 5 made threes today for Kansas State. They also make around 9 a game. Sides fake the 3. Sundell. Glenn. Good. And the Wildcats are absolutely shooting the lights out right now.
You make those rotations, the extra rotation, you see the ball move, it gives you the open shots. Aside that first one, a nice little side step into a 3, and then you see the rotation, ball movement, drive in, kick it out, and you get those open looks when the ball moves, and that's what Kansas State is doing a really good job of, just making those assists and get the better pass, get the better shot.
Well, this trio this year have established themselves as the 4th set of Kansas State teammates and the first since 2013 to score 1,000 or more points at their same school and make 50 or more three-pointers in a season. So we have talked a lot about the interior presence of Yoki Lee, but this is a team that can shoot.
Well, you have to have that inside out, and I think that's what makes your team so effective and efficient. When you can start the game passing it in to Yoka Lee and Kennedy Taylor down in the paint, then when the double and triple teams start coming, you have to have shooters on the outside. That forces it to open up. Who are you going to help off of?
Kansas State overall shooting 50% in this game. Yoki Lee with a double-double in her first game back. Anderson spinning and travels. A 30-point lead all of a sudden for Kansas State. They are in the midst of an 11-0 run, and Carly Tebow, Dodonis, and staff trying to figure this out.
Well, all the things we saw in practice yesterday, spacing the floor, passing and moving. Kansas State quickly got Fairfield out of their offensive rhythm. And offensively out for Kansas State, they've just done a really good job of attacking, starting with Yoka Lee and Sundell, and then spreading the floor.
Sundell down the lane, block on Selimovic. And Sundell will go to the line. You know, it was interesting in their press conference yesterday, Kansas State said that their focus was doing one good thing at a time, taking that all the way down to the possession, executing the right thing to do on every possession. And I think they've pretty much accomplished that so far.
Well, and what a smart way to look at it. Be in the moment, enjoy every single possession. You have 30 seconds. If you stop playing defense, or you only play defense for 25 out of those 30 seconds and you miss the box out, that could be the game winner. You never know what that possession leads to. And so really being conscious of defensively taking care of business and offensively working together and having the best shot.
Sundown now with 12 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 7 assists. She's getting close to a double-double in points and assists. Magruder will shoot the 3. Batted around, taken by the Wildcats. Walker looks inside, Sundell with a finish.
And right now they are putting on a clinic in how you work together as a team. In Kansas State, 17 assists on 25 made field goals.
Under a minute to play. Scott here in the third quarter, off the mark on the 3. Fairfield 4 of 23 behind the three-point line. Kansas State has scored the last 14 points in this game. Walker with a take.
That was nice. Walker, great job. Like that little right hand. Nice little hook shot.
Final seconds of this third quarter, and Kansas State has outscored Fairfield 29-6. Stags have the ball, final possession. Magruder blocked. So a 29-6 third quarter puts Kansas State up by 35 points.
And one of the stars that shines, Serena Sundell, Kansas State. Nice little layup.
The NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? A little dance off during the timeout. There you go, Tamika. You look good with that hat on.
Yeah, about that. It definitely was very intriguing.
Yeah, Willie and Lucas were really entertaining us in that timeout. So back to live action now, fourth quarter starting, and it has been a fantastic performance so far by Kansas State. Fairfield has 10 minutes to try to overcome this 35-point lead. Kansas State only one starter on the floor. Excuse me, check that. 2 starters now, Glenn and Walker. Nicoletti Leite leads the break for the Stags to Magruder. Got to start making some buckets.
That's a good sign. They got a good defensive possession coming into the fourth quarter. And as you said, they got to start making some buckets. But a lot of that has to, they cannot continue to just keep dribbling with their head down and trying to pick the ball up. I think they really just got to get into pass, cut, which is what we saw in practice.
Magruder, 3 off the mark. Sanchez with a rebound. Lee and Sundell on the bench for Kansas State right now. Winner of this moves on to face Kentucky Sunday. Kansas State holds on. It would be a 4-5 matchup. Kentucky the 4 seed, Kansas State the 5 seed. Good D by the Stags. Brown forces the turnover.
So 2 turnovers in a row for the Wildcats. Let's see if Fairfield can convert.
And a foul on Lester. 2 fouls in a row for Amani Lester. Lester from Raleigh, North Carolina. Mentioned her dad played at NC State. It's interesting. She's the first player from the state of North Carolina to make their way to Manhattan, Kansas and play for the Wildcats.
Coach had a lot of really good things to say about her too, and just her development. The year had gone, and a nice backdoor cut.
Yeah, good pass. Lamoureux to Brown for the finish. Ray Brown 6 points. Walker, one of the starters, and there's the other one in the game right now, Glenn. Sides is going to check back in on the next dead ball. Nice alley-oop to Maupin.
Yes. Sanchez put the ball up there. You just saw it looked like it was going out of bounds until Maupin got up there.
And a foul called against Glenn. Let's get back to that.
Take a look at Sanchez, looks up, she throws the ball up, and all of a sudden Maupin gets up in the air. And such an athletic play.
Maupin, a junior from Webster Groves, Missouri. Lamoureux open for 3. Off the mark, Sanchez with a rebound. Sides will push it for the Wildcats. And broken up by Lamoureux. Stolen back by Sundell, who's just checked back in. And a foul away from the ball. Foul's going to be on Lamoureux.
I feel like every single player right now on the Wildcats team is looking at Lamoureux. Lamoureux is just playing as hard as she possibly can, trying to figure out a way to help her team get back in this game. Sides.
Taryn Sides, her 3rd 3-pointer of the game.
Side 3 for 5 from the 3-point line.
7 made threes for the Wildcats. Kansas State has never trailed in this game. It was a massive 3rd quarter. 3 on the way from Magruder. Sanchez with the rebound.
Fairfield is one of those teams that you know they're going to shoot threes, but really struggling today. 4 for 27 on the 3-point line.
Fairfield has not won a quarter yet. They haven't led. Here's Lamoureux going down against Walker. No contact. Smart by Walker to give Lamoureux the bucket, and Lamoureux now with 10 points.
Lamoureux, the first player for Fairfield in double digits.
Walker, good pass to Sides again. And Lester gets the rebound. Sides will shoot one more. And same looking play. Lester's got that move perfected. Walker on the drive, no good. Nicoletta Leite.
See if Fairfield can take advantage of the offensive opportunity.
Is this game surprising you today, Tamika?
It is. I thought that it would be a closer game, and more so because of what we've seen. And you got to see it firsthand. I saw it on film, just how aggressive this Fairfield team is, and they can knock down the threes. And so when they're knocking down those threes, they're playing together as a team. We watched practice yesterday, and it looked like all cylinders were clicking, and all of the players talked about coming into this game and the excitement.
Well, Lamoureux has been the one bright spot offensively today for Fairfield. 10 points in and out. And for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Poindexter and Glenn will return for the Wildcats after that free throw.
What I like Coach Mitty is trying to make sure that he gets all of his players in, and you said earlier, he cleared the bench, and just got to get ready. The further you go into the NCAA tournament, you never know what's going to happen, and so you want to have those opportunities where players are ready to step in the game.
Sundell looking for the screen, decides not to use it and drives. And Sundell, yes! Another creative shot by Sundell.
She's a versatile player and knows how to get her shot, but also knows how to create shots for others, and I think that's a huge asset for a team.
It'll be interesting to see if we see Yoki Lee back on the floor. Lamoureux missing that one. Scott runs it down, good hustle. Yoki Lee on the bench right now, 7 of 10 shooting, sitting there with 17 points and 10 rebounds. And a timeout on the floor as Fairfield struggling with Kansas State.
Well, this game has been all about the three-point line, and Kansas State right now shooting the ball lights out. It is raining three in Lexington, 7 for 19, 37% from the three-point line, and it has been multiple players that have stepped up and hit some big-time shots, but Terrence Sides off the bench leading them with 3-3 on the night.
So let's check out today's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. And the Kansas State Wildcats, 7 threes to 4 for Fairfield. And dominating in the paint, much of that, of course, because of Yoki Lee, who's not in the game right now. Yoki Lee on the bench with 17 points, 10 rebounds today in her return to basketball after the long layoff. And we're starting to look forward to a Kansas State-Kentucky matchup on Sunday. There's a turnover. And those two teams haven't played since 2020, back when Ryan Howard was in a Kentucky jersey.
Well, totally different teams. And so even when you start looking at some of the matchups that have happened before and coaches going up against each other, a lot has changed since 2020. So it'll be a lot of fun just to see.
Selimovic, short jumper. Fairfield's just not getting the shots to go down today. This is a team that has been so fun to watch for 2 seasons. Glenn with the runner.
Everything for Kansas State seems to be falling, but they've done a really good job. You got to give credit defensively. They've made it hard, and especially early on, they made it really hard for Fairfield to get into a rhythm. And meanwhile, on the offensive end, they have been doing a great job.
Selimovic buries the three-pointer, and that's her second made three of the day. You know, I think it's just a reflection of their focus there, where they were concentrating on doing the right thing every time down the floor. There's just not a lot of mistakes for Kansas State today.
And you have to be consistent with that. Taylor gets a nice look at the basket. Of course, Sundell with the assist.
9th assist for Sundell. Taylor now with 8 points. Sundell an assist away from a double-double. Nicoletti Leite. And Lamoureux thought she was going to have someone to throw to, but it had already happened. Today, not a reflection of this Fairfield program's potential and success. Carly Tipo-Dodonis has put Fairfield on the map. This is their record over the last 2 seasons, 59-6. They've only lost 1 conference game this year. They've outscored their opponents by 18 points a game. This year had a 19-game win streak, stopped the week before the tournament by Quinnipiac. And they are definitely one of the best mid-majors you will find in the country. Sundell with a nice move.
Yeah, I like that move by Sundell. To go back to Coach Donis, you know, one of the things that impresses me about her is, inside she has to be steaming and just, upset about the performance and just how, not that her team wasn't prepared, but Kansas State had taken them out of their game plan.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to give Kansas State all the credit in the world for this.
Some of the shots that they've taken, and even listen to the last game, the 1 second rule. Fairfield has dribbled more this game than we've seen in the past.
Stripped away by Nicoletta Leite. Maupin lost it, but Kansas State gets it back. Sundell for three. And a rebound by the Stags.
But I love just the fact when you look at Coach Dudanis and what she's been able to do in 2 years with this team, just think about what the future holds, and as she continues to get her team and her players in this program.
Sydney Scott, who didn't miss a three in the championship game, misses that one. The Fairfield community really behind the Stags. They have fantastic facilities up at Fairfield University. So a very bright future for Fairfield. Sides, kicks it out. Here's Walker, in and out. Glenn runs it down.
Almost could have been Fairfield ball, but it will go out of bounds on them and back to Kansas State.
Carly Thibault Dudanis hugging Nicolette Leite. 7 years of college basketball coming to an end. Selimovic, whose family originally from war-torn Bosnia, coming off the floor. And Carly is a player's coach. These players absolutely adore her. She's created such a family environment at Fairfield. Scott will shoot another three. But as we get closer to Sunday, Tamika, Kentucky versus Kansas State. How do you think that's going to look as Sides puts in another three?
Sides has been lights out from the three-point line, and yeah, I like that matchup. It's going to be interesting. You know, we talked a lot about Aoka Lee, and obviously with Kentucky, they have their big three down low. But Georgia Amore is still one of the players that we continue to talk about from the Kentucky side, and just she came out leading her team to the victory today.
That foul was on Lamoureux, and it'll put Anderson on the free throw line. Anderson was so impactful in the MAC championship game, scored 27 points and was named tournament MVP for her performance against Quinnipiac in that title game. And Anderson today, it's just her 5th point.
Anderson, I wouldn't even say that she struggled. I really feel like as the game wore on, they stopped really looking and doing the plays that worked from that championship game.
A sophomore and already almost 1,000-point scorer is Anderson. Sanchez will put up the three. Maupin with the offensive board. Sundell into Sanchez. Sanchez to Maupin, and one for Maupin.
Maupin's been down low, working hard. And it's good when you get your hands on that ball and able to get an opportunity for an and one.
Anderson gets called for the foul. Maupin goes to the free throw line. A junior, only her 26th and 27th free throws of the season coming up. Actually, her 26th, she made the shot. Final minute of our final first round game from Lexington today. The Wildcats of Kentucky got a 1-point win over the Liberty Lady Flames earlier today, and Kansas State has led wire to wire here in our second game, and that will set up a 4-5 matchup on Sunday. Game times have not yet been determined.
There's a whole lot of basketball to be played today, so I hope you're sitting on the couch watching one game to the next game to the next game. It literally goes on until 11 o'clock tonight.
And that was a shot clock violation. The shot clock or the game clock kept running, so they will adjust the clock. Again, this is the Regional 4 Spokane. USC, the top seed in this section of the bracket. They'll be on ABC tomorrow. Clock adjusted to 35.7 seconds. Kansas State, what a performance today. They have shot 53% in this game from the field. Sundell with 18 points, 9 assists. Playing catch with sides. And they're going to probably take the shot clock violation here. And they do.
She didn't want to get the turnover.
4.6 seconds left in the game. And Kansas State is moving on in the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, and Fairfield's incredible season will come to an end. The Stags finish their season 28-4, and Kansas State wins its 27th game of the season. Jeff Mitty's team was close to perfect today.
Well, Kansas State came out and put on a show. Offensively, all of their players were aligned. They did the things they talked about in practice and even in the press conference. Every single possession mattered, and you saw it on the offensive end and you saw it on the defensive end.
Yoki Lee, her return to the court, 17 points, 10 rebounds, did not have to play a full game, but her impact was felt from the very start. And so the seeds hold here in Lexington. On Sunday, Kentucky will face Kansas State for the right to move on to the Sweet 16. For producer James Davidson, director Brad Wilson, statistician David Kaplan, and my Hall of Fame partner Tamika Catchings, I'm Sam Gore, saying so long from Lexington. UFC Live, Edwards and Brady is next.